This episode of the Chris Johnston Show is brought to you by Sports Interaction Sportsbook and Casino, focusing on the teams, players, and games that actually matter to you. They're not just another sportsbook, featuring a brand new betting platform with even more ways to bet, including same-game parlays, which is an absolute game changer. Plus, Sports Interaction Casino, the best in the market with an insane amount of games and live 24/7 dealers. So why bet with those American companies who don't understand your city? Sports Interaction, your homegrown sportsbook. Bet local. Download the app or go to sportsinteraction.com/SDPN. 19 plus. Please play responsibly. CJ, an early storyline that has been materializing is attendance. And two Canadian markets have kind of popped up when it comes to this topic. The Canada Life Centre in Winnipeg. It was reported they had about 11,000 over 11,000 in attendance. And that was for the Kings-Jets game, the Pierre-Luc Dubois return game for the former Winnipeg Jet and also former Columbus Blue Jacket. And then on Wednesday night...
they didn't sell out their home opener either in Winnipeg.
So. That's wild. That's wild that that's going on. And then in Ottawa on Wednesday, over 15,000 for the Senators-Capitals game. I didn't expect those numbers so early in the year. Why are we at this point?
I mean, that's a $1 billion question, not even just $1 million question. But I'll tell you the first thing that comes to mind. Tickets are expensive, but do you know what else is expensive?
What?
Your groceries, your hydro bill, your rent or housing costs. I mean, if you have to travel anywhere, I mean, anyone who's doing anything in today's day and age is probably feeling it to various degrees or noticing what's gone on. And so I think that like, we can't even get into this conversation without just calling that out right off the bat. I mean, life is freaking expensive right now. And I think, unfortunately, a lot of people are feeling some pain. And so what would be the first thing you cut back if you're in a difficult financial spot? I think it's obviously discretionary spending. And I think for most people, going to sporting events or concerts or anything of that similar nature would be pretty discretionary among the things you have to pay for. So that has to be part of it. You know, let's start with Winnipeg first, because I think that they are an interesting circumstance. I mean, they basically sold out something like 10 straight years when the team returned from Atlanta. Tremendous support in that market. I don't know that the support has changed, but certainly since the pandemic restrictions were lifted and you could start having full buildings again, the Jets just have never got their fans back to full buildings on a regular basis. And, you know, some of this is that they have a smaller corporate base than most teams in terms of season tickets. I think the Jets have something like 15% of their tickets swallowed up by corporate buys, whereas, you know, other NHL markets, it's 50, 60%, depending on the market. And so they have to sell more tickets, obviously, to everyday people, to fans going to games. And, you know, I wonder if on some level, I kind of talked about this today, that they extended Scheifele and Hellebuck. You know, certainly they wanted to keep the players. That's first and foremost. But I wonder if the fact that they've had a little more trouble in their marketplace generating ticket revenue and filling the building, you know, plays into the idea that you're not rebuilding, that you're not going to trade away players like that, and that you should instead sign them and do everything you can to go all in and have it create a, you know, competitive team this season. I mean, it seems to me that that's what's gone on there. And, you know, Winnipeg is a small market, smallest market in the league. And so, you know, for them, selling tickets is critical. I mean, the league has various things like revenue sharing and other things that go on that can help out a team like the Jets. But, you know, they need, I think they feel they need to have a winning team on the ice, and they have to win their fans back and do what they can to make it work. And it just feels like we're headed towards some tough times, doesn't it? And you wonder, you know, the league has put out the projections for the salary cap next season that basically they think they're going to, you know, see enough growth that they're going to get a full 5% jump in the cap. I wonder if this year goes along. I don't have an answer, and I don't think they would have an answer yet if that could change, if we see this become a trend, not just in the two Canadian markets you mentioned, but other places in the league. And, you know, if we see attendance take significant drops, I mean, that's going to have obviously a wider effect on NHL business and potentially on the cap. I mean, it's way too soon to project that, but, you know, you can't ignore empty seats in October. And you know, look, the Senators are off to a strong start. I've got a brother-in-law who owns a part of season tickets down there, and he was texting me pretty excited after their win over the Capitals on Wednesday night and feeling good about the early returns in the season. Obviously, seeing Josh Norris return to the team's lineup and them getting a few wins in the bank. The Jets made those big signings, and yet, I don't think it's an issue where people don't like the team. I just don't know if people want to pay the price or can pay the price it costs to go to games on a daily basis.
Especially if the team isn't necessarily in that same echelon of contender status compared to like a Dallas or a Colorado or even a Vegas. I think that plays a role in that too.
Yeah, it might. It's hard to say. Like, I do know the teams are doing a lot of work on this. I mean, obviously in Ottawa's case, they've got a new ownership group under Michael Landauer. I think there's a lot of positive momentum in that marketplace for the Senators. And I think on the ice, it's going to reflect that just with the sort of where they're at in their cycle of building up towards competitiveness. So I don't, as I say, like, I don't think it's a case of the fans not being in on the team. It's just, you just wonder what effects the business will have. And I think there's going to be a major storyline, say, as we get into December when the Board of Governors meet. They're meeting in Seattle this year in September, but when that's league ownership, that December meeting is usually where a lot of financial modeling is done and discussions of this on these kind of issues. And so, I think that this is these early signs are going to turn into what I think will be a bigger storyline of this season, unfortunately. And, you do feel bad for people out there that are having a tough time of it right now. But as I said off the top, if you're seeing your bills all go up, if it's costing you more to feed your family, I think the easiest thing to let go is paying a few $100 to go to a hockey game. I mean, it's just a fact, and it's not just hockey. You're not going to a baseball game or a football game or your favorite band when they come through town. You're probably just giving that all a pass because that's a reflection of where we're at in these inflationary times.
Yeah. Okay. So we will keep tabs on that as the season goes along.